Alright, what is up YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys with the Fortune deck profile. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, so I had to do a lot of reconstruction with this. There are a lot of new cards now for the Fortune ladies. There's a lot of new support for the Fortune archetype, whether you're a Fortune lady or a Fortune fairy. Um, it's real crazy out here with a lot of this. So I am taking the best chances I possibly can with everything. So I hope you guys enjoy it. This is just pretty much like a rough draft. Because the Fortune Lady Pass, Fortune Lady Every, and the other spells and traps won't be out till Rising Rampage. I keep calling it the wrong set. I don't know why. Is there something about Raging Tempest that I missed? I don't even know. There's no set that's named Raging Tempest, as far as I remember. I just want to say Raging Tempest for some weird reason. But without further ado, let's get into deck profile. Alright. So, I'm going to start off with all of the monsters that I'm running in the main deck. I'm running 3 copies of Fortune Lady Light, 3 copies of Fortune Lady Water. Why I say wind? 3 copies of Fortune Lady Dark, 2 copies of Fortune Fairy Hikari, 2 copies of Fortune Fairy Een, 2 copies of Fortune Fairy Who, 2 copies of Jester Confit, and 2 copies of Kinkabayu. Then for the last monsters of the deck, I'm running 1 Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, 1 Chaos Sorcerer, and a set of Effect Veiler. So that's pretty much it for the main deck in terms of its monsters. For the spells, I'm rocking 2 copies of Fortune's Future, 2 copies of Spellbook of Knowledge, 2 copies of Wonder Wand, 2 copies of Allure Darkness. Why is nothing ever going to be set out the way I want it to be set out? Hold on 1 second. There you go. Fortune Future, Allure Darkness, Wonder Wand, Spellbook of Knowledge. Alright. 2 copies of Dark Hole, 1 copy of Car Destruction, a Star Goblin, Golden Sarcophagus, 1-for-1, Reasoning, and Magical Stone Excavation. Alright, that is it for the spells, and that's pretty much it for the main deck. There are no trap cards in the main deck. Not till the new set. Alright, then for the extra deck, I'm just putting stuff here together because you can put anything in this extra deck. Extra deck. So I'm rocking 3 copies of Daybreaker, the Shining Magical Warrior. My Nightmare Engine of 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Salamangreat Almirage, 1 Decode Talker, 1 Saryuja, 1 Barrel Sword Dragon, 1 Downer Magician, 1 Slacker Magician, so I say Slacker Magician, 1 Leviator Sea Dragon, 1 Evil Swarm Excited Tonight, 1 Abyss Dweller, and 1 Gaga Cowboy. So that's pretty much it for the main and the extra deck. Alright, so let's talk about it. I excluded Fortune Lady Earth, Fortune Lady Wind, and Fortune Lady Fire. The reason I excluded these 3 Fortune Ladies is simply just due to, well, a lot of reasons. Fortunately enough, I should say, when the other 2 Fortune Ladies come out, this will more so be strongly built for Fortune Lady than it is right now, because this is mostly just built on the Fortune archetype itself. Because I didn't get to all the Fortune Fairies support cards that I wanted to test out a lot of things. So unfortunately, I did have to take Fire, Wind, and Earth to step back. Most likely, it was probably going to be Earth and Wind stepping back anyway, primarily because, like, the main assortment of this deck is that it's fire, water, dark, and light that do most of the work. Wind is relegated to a normal summon, and earth just there for burn. And I can easily get that at least off of fire, but fire has her restrictions. She has to be special summon the Fortune Lady effect. She has to be special summon in attack position, and I have to pray nothing runs her over because she doesn't have much attack to defend herself anyway. But yeah, unfortunately, you won't be seeing the three of them in this variation. However, the ones you will be seeing are, of course, Fortune Lady Light, Fortune Lady Water, and Fortune Lady Dark. So I'm gonna get the Fortune Ladies out the way. Fortune Lady Dark and Fortune Lady Light are pretty much the deck's main engine in terms of special summoning the Fortune Lady cards. The primary targets that you want to get from either of them is if you use Light's effect, you want to get Dark or Water. If you get Dark's effect, you want to get either Water or Light, and Water is your draw engine. Now, the only stipulations between Light and Dark is Dark says, unfortunately, has to destroy a monster of a battle and sends it to the graveyard. Fortunately, Light has to be removed from the field by a card effect. Tribute summoning her does not count. I don't know why I have to explain that, but for some weird reason that just popped in my head. All the Fortune Ladies have an effect that during the standby phase, they will increase their level by 1. They gain attack and defense equal to their level times whatever the amount is on their card specified. For water and for light and fire, it's 200 times their level. For water and wind, it's 300 times their level. And for fire, dark, and every, because every's the new monster, she'll be in the extra deck. It's their levels times 400. And Fortune Lady Pass is the same as Fortune Lady Fire and Light, where it is 200 times their level. But these are pretty much the main Fortune Ladies I'll be running in this build. And of course, I didn't want to exclude the others. Now let's move on to the Fortune Fairies. I'm running Fortune Fairy Hikari, Fortune Fairy In, and Fortune Fairy Who. So, these are, of course, the Fortune Fairies I chose to run, primarily because they're going to have more interaction with the Archetypes main set anyway. Who has the ability in which, all the Fortune Fairies have this effect. When you draw into them, you can such summon them from your hand. When you such summon them, they have additional effects. For Fortune Fairy Hikari, I'll start off with her, because she's the first one up. Her effect is that she can send one other spellcaster monster you control to the graveyard to such summon a level 1 spellcaster from your deck. Fortune Fairy In, when she is special summoned from your hand, you can target one set card your opponent controls and destroy that card. And the Fortune Fairy Who has the ability to add one banished spellcaster type monster from your banished to your hand. So, bam, you have 3 out of the 6. I want to work on a deck with the Fortune Fairies, and I actually want to try using the Witchcraft's new monster, Witchcraft Golem Aruru, and oh my god, she's actually really amazing. But unfortunately, she's secret too. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of secrets I'm really looking for from the next set. But no, I'm really glad that the Fortune Fairies came out here and not some weird side set, and then they all be like mixed rarities anyway. But it's nice to have them in at least that. At least get them high up, because Hikari was the only one that came secret, and everybody else is ultra. And then all the big support is ultra as well. So really happy about that. And really good floaters, really good setup cards. And of course, I have a lot of cards in the deck that work with spellcasters. So, I can send them off with Wonder Wands. I can send them off with Spell of Knowledge. I can draw into them with those cards. And if anything else sells out, I can leak some of them away. So, yeah. That's my Fortune engine. Move on to the supporting cast, because I took a long period of time talking about the main cast. Jester Confed, pretty much here as an easy special summon. I rarely am going to even use his effect to bounce a card, bounce himself into a card my opponent controls back to hand. I don't think I'll ever really be in the stipulation to have to do that. But it is nice to have options of a monster that can relegate itself to doing that. But he's pretty much here for two reasons. One, banish material for chaos monsters. Two, tribute summon for Fortune Lady Dark. And three, he's easy fodder for, of course, Wonder Wand and Spellbook's Knowledge. Moving on from him is the other supporting cast member of Kinka Bayou. Some people pronounce it as Kinka Bio, like whatever pronunciation. I'm just used to calling it Kinkabayu, and that's what we call it. So he is a very unique monster. First of all, he's a spirit, so that is a waste of a normal summon. Thank you, Gesture Comfy, for being an option. With his ability, you can special summon a level 1 monster from your graveyard, negate it to the field, negate its effects, and then during the end phase, you return this card to hand, and then whatever card was special summoned by this card's effect, you banish it. You interact this card with Fortunately Light, so that way Fortunately Light can trigger her ability when she leaves the field. Of course, you can always link summon, synchro summon, all those crazy things. Because I am running the tuner in the form of Effect Veiler, and I'll get to Effect Veiler in a minute. Next up, of course, is the Chaos monsters that I'm running. Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, and Chaos Sorcerer. I wanted to run Chaos Emperor Dragon. The only stipulation with Chaos Emperor Dragon is that after it uses this effect, no other card's effects can be activated. And the thing is, if I pop for Chaos Emperor Dragon, it's going to be like an in-game type of situation. But I'd rather not risk that. So instead, I'm just going to rock out with BLS and Chaos Sorcerer. I'm actually going to look forward into looking for more Chaos Sorcerers and BLSs, primarily commons, just because they'll probably be easier to pick up. But yeah, that's just it for the supporting cast. And of course, the last member is the Hand Trap. And my Hand Trap of choice for this deck will be Effect Veiler. It's primarily because Veiler is a tuner. She's light. She's spellcaster. She just synergizes well with it. But you can run any variation of Hand Trap you want to. Ash Blossom Joyous Springs. You can run Ghost Ogre Snow Rapid. You can run Ghost Reaper, Winter Cherries. You have an array of hand traps. You can just fit them in wherever you want to. So there, I'm not going to stress that button any longer. I only have access to 2 Fortune features because I tried to pick up a third one, but I'll probably just wait till the OTS pack prints them. But yeah, Fortune feature, pretty much the additional draw card for the Fortune ladies. Send the banished Fortune lady to the graveyard, draw 2 cards. Because this card is not on a restriction of being once per turn. If you can get some other spell cards that can recycle spells, go right ahead and take advantage of it. It is a Fortune card because I do believe Fortune's Vision will be coming in the next set. And I know a lot of people are very excited about that because it's a search card for them. So, alright. That is the Fortune's Future. We move on to, of course, the 2 spell cards for spellcaster decks that will be assisting me in draw power. And then, of course, Dark's draw power, which is Allure Darkness. So, Wonder Wand, equipped to a spellcaster, I'll gain 500 additional attack points. You send the spellcaster who's equipped with this card to the graveyard, draw 2 cards. So, you can work this with Fortunately Light. You can send Water to the grave, Fortune Fairy Hikari, Who, and get your draw going. You can even draw into them. Same thing with Allure Darkness, and of course, Spellbook of Knowledge. Spellbook of Knowledge, send the spellcaster type monster you control to the graveyard, or Spellbook spell card face up on your field or in your hand to the graveyard. Draw 2 cards, and you'll use the effect of Spellbook of Knowledge return. That's perfectly fine because it's just draw power. And then Allure, draw 2 cards, banish a dark monster in your hand. That's also a good reason why I'm running pretty much a large portion of dark cards. Because, 7, 8, when you count Chaos Sorcerer. So, yeah, why not fit in? I'm fitting in those additional draw cards as well. Then I'm moving on to the rest of the spells. And those are, of course, in the form of Double Dark Hole. Knowing that this card is at 3 scares me, because massive removal. But knowing that most of the cards in the game cannot be destroyed by card effect is perfectly fine. The thing about Dark Hole is I want to destroy my Fortune Lady Light and clear out some of my board too if I need to. It's just pretty much just here to help with Fortune Lady Light because I don't really could think of anything I had on me to get rid of my own cards. I could fit in Magical Dimension. That's also a good option as well. But Magical Dimension is very situational in its own effects because you can't do one effect because you can't do the other. So I just said, screw it, let's run Dark Holes. At least that way I can clear out some of the trash I can run into. If not, just Dark Hole it away. Like, I don't mean to be mean about the whole trash thing. I just, yeah, like, if you run into something you don't want to deal with, just Dark Hole or Regeki. Card Destruction, Utstar Goblin, for some hand corrections and help with hand manipulation. Then, draw, send cards to grave, draw cards, and then just draw a card, give your opponent 1,000 life points. Golden Sarcophagus to banish some of my targets, and then I can use Fortune Future to send someone into the grave. 1-for-1 to help get Fortune Fairy Hikari or get Fortune Lady Light, having another discard outlet card as well. Reasoning, because you can't really grasp what level half the cards in this deck is, so pick or choose, my opponent. And Monster Gate's also a good reason as well, but I like reasoning more just because I love the guessing game. And then Magical Stone Excavation. So with this card, of course, it's free. Get a spell card from a graveyard by discarding 2 cards from your hand. Alright, so that's pretty much all of the main deck. The reason why I'm not running traps is, like I said, the one trap that I'm going to run with Fortune Ladies is in the core set, and the core set's not out yet. Alright, on to the extra. So I got a lot of level manipulation in here. So the Exceed monsters are just as follow. I'm rocking 1 Donner Magician because she has the ability to do some piercing damage. I can put her on top of any of my other 2 monsters that are level 3 or lower. Any of the monsters rank 3 or lower, the range can just go from there. Any material attached to them will become material attached to her. She'll gain, I believe it's 300 attack? 200 attack for each material. She can attack my opponent and then inflict piercing damage to them if I attack a defense position monster. But at the end of the damage step, she will lose 1 material. It's perfectly fine. She's just here to do damage. Next up is Leviair the Sea Dragon and Slacker Magician. So these are pretty much just my level 3 or lowers. The range can vary. It can practically be any combination of rank 4 to 3 monsters. I do have 3 more monsters, of course. But Slacker Magician, I can easily put Downer Magician on top of her. Or Leviair. And they'll give their material to her. Won't be a problem there. Leviair is pretty much here to help with the banished stuff, in case that ever becomes an issue. Primarily because I am running 2 Fortune Fairy Who's. But, of course, if you want to run Fortune Lady Wind, you can add her back into the deck. And the level ups of Fortune Lady Water, Light, so you got that option as well. Just a lot of range of things, and then going to the banished section of the game, of either side of the field. The Exciton Knight to remove cards from the board, the Abyss Dweller to deal with the graveyard, and the Cowboy to do the 800 points of damage in case I need to do it. Now, questioning the level 4s, of course, it is just Fortune Lady Water at the moment. But like I said, range can vary. I just wanted to keep some options in here in case I did some crazy shenanigans with the deck. So that is pretty much it for the Exceed monsters. On to the Link monsters. Because it's a spellcaster deck, I wanted to focus on a decent enough spellcaster monster. I don't know why I put all 3 out there, but yeah. Daybreaker, the Shiny Magical Warrior. 2 spellcaster type monsters for his Link summon. When he's summoned, you can give him a counter. He gains 300 attack for each one. It's kind of like Breaker the Magical Warrior in a Link monster. He'll pretty much gain counter when he's summoned. Every time a spell is activated, every time you summon a spellcaster type monster where he points to, he's going to gain another counter. And if you have 2 or more counters, if you have 2 counters on them, you can remove them to target 1 card on the field and destroy it. So he has some destruction effect. And it's a spread destruction. You don't have to just destroy spells and traps. You can even take out some monsters. He'll lose some attack points because he gains 300 for each counter on him. But it's not too bad when you can do some damage with such an easy to summon monster. And the attribute is not restricting him. I got my double Nightmare monsters in the form of Cerberus and Phoenix. Pretty much Cerberus helps you deal with monsters in the main zone, and then Phoenix helps you deal with back row. The other additional thing about them is, of course, you discard when they activate their effect, and you draw a card if they're co-linked. 2 cards. So it helps out there with some draw power and getting rid of some threats. Next up, 1 Salamangreat Almirage. If you haven't seen my video yet, this is pretty much one of the monsters that I pulled from it. Very excited about Almirage because I wasn't too sure how I wanted to use this, but because of how very setup oriented it is, there's a lot of cards you can easily use this card with in this deck. So I wanted to take advantage of it. Why not? Alright, then I just threw in some generic stuff as well in form of Decode Talker, because, well, why not? And then, of course, I got two of the extra deck's biggest Link 4 monsters, and some of this game's biggest sought-after Link 4 monsters, Saryuja and Barrel Sword Dragon. I'm very happy to get myself a Barrel Sword Dragon, because I was in need of one bad. And luckily enough, Battle Legend did reprint it. It is one of the harder cards to get, shockingly. And that's also because I just found out today, actually a few days ago when I did the, when I looked it up to buy into it, none of the originals are in circulation. They're sold out in most places. And because of the reprint, they didn't really drop much. I think they're like still pretty up there as the original, but this is just as hard to get itself. I had to spend a lot to get one. And then Saryuja, as we all know, just a really good monster for a deck that can easily spam multiple monsters. Getting this guy onto the field once using 4 material for him, draw that 4 cards, send them 3 to the bottom of the deck in any order. There's some of your hand correction. Not as fast as Phantasme, but it'll help as best as it can. And then, of course, the additional attack and defense to your monsters, and then that additional summon. So that is pretty much it for this deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll get back to you guys, of course, after Rising Rampage comes out here in the TCG, and I'll have some stuff set up hopefully in August. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell when you guys want to be informed when I do some uploads and go into my live streams. Thanks everybody for watching. HPJ signing out.